The dish array hummed beneath a waning moon, its skeletal silhouette cast across the desert sands. Inside the observatory, Dr. Lena Voren hunched over her terminal, the faint glow of the screen flickering in her glasses. The signal had arrived precisely at 3:17 UTC, a burst of electromagnetic noise from a patch of sky previously considered radio silent. At first, Lena assumed it was an anomaly, a bounced Earth signal, maybe interference. But when the data decompressed, the monitor bloomed with something else. Not static, not noise, images. She called the others, Dr. Karim El-Sayegh, quiet and methodical, tech engineer May Park, forever skeptical, astrophysicist Tomasz Novak, the team's cynic, and Dr. Rachel Yates, mission lead and voice of reason. They crowded around the display, silent as the screen scrolled through frame after frame. Each image showed one of them. Lena, eyes wide in horror, her body sprawled across the observatory floor. Karim motionless in his quarters, a smear of blood trailing from his ear. May, surrounded by shattered glass and fire. Tomasz, half submerged in a water tank, unmoving. And Rachel's face frozen mid-scream, a shape behind her barely visible in the blur. No one spoke. The images were clear, time-stamped with dates just days apart. Could be a prank, Tomasz offered weakly, but his voice held no conviction. Rachel locked the lab. No one leaves, no one enters, not until we understand what this is. Outside, the desert wind began to howl, and far above, in the silent cold of space, something listened. The room was silent, save for the soft whir of the air conditioning and the occasional click of keys. Rachel paced near the console, arms folded tight, her face unreadable. Tomasz had isolated the source frequency, narrowband, ultra-high frequency, unlike anything they'd encountered. Karim had been the first to say it aloud. This isn't random. It's targeted. He was right. The signal was precise, clean. Not a broadcast, but a message. And worse, it was still transmitting. I ran a spectral analysis, May said, pulling up her findings. The transmission isn't just images. It's layered. There's data buried beneath the visuals, encoded, maybe even recursive. It's intelligent. Lena didn't respond. She kept staring at her own death frame, frozen mid-fall, blood arcing from her temple. She had noticed something the others hadn't. Her body wasn't alone. In the corner of the image, nearly imperceptible, was a shadow. Human-shaped, but wrong. Could it be predictive? Karim asked. Some kind of quantum echo? A reflection of possible futures? Tomasz scoffed. And you think it's just a coincidence that each future ends with us dead? Rachel turned sharply. Enough. This isn't a time for theories. It's a time for action. We isolate the signal, find its source, and block it. If this is some kind of psychological warfare, we don't play along. But what if it's a warning? Lena said quietly. Everyone turned to her. She hesitated, then added, what if it's trying to help us? What if someone or something knows what's coming? No one answered. Outside, lightning flashed silently in the distance. The desert had no forecast for storms, but the observatory lights flickered once, then steadied. And in the far end of the lab, the signal monitor blinked on again, unauthorized, unprompted. A new image had appeared. Rachel, alone, reaching for her gun. Rachel stood frozen, staring at the image on the screen, her own hand mid-reach toward the emergency weapon locker. Her expression in the frame was distant, unreadable. That's not possible, she muttered. I've never touched that locker. Yet, Tomasz said darkly, you haven't touched it yet. Karim leaned in, squinting at the timestamp. That's tomorrow. No one moved for a moment. Rachel stepped back from the monitor, arms at her sides. I didn't authorize this terminal to be active, she said. Lena, you locked the lab, right? Lena nodded slowly, unease creeping into her features. Yes, and the firewall was engaged. There's no external access. May spun toward the mainframe. Then someone inside turned it back on. An icy silence swept through the room. Tomasz chuckled bitterly. Wonderful. So not only are we all scheduled to die, one of us might already be helping it along. That's a leap, Karim snapped. This could still be mechanical failure, automated playback, a glitch. No glitch runs decryption protocols without a user ID, May cut in. And whoever triggered it knew what they were doing. This isn't a child poking around. Rachel rubbed her temples. Okay, then we do this methodically. May, trace all recent input commands. Karim, go over the physical logs. Maybe someone left the lab when they weren't supposed to. Tomasz, Lena, help me recheck the source data. Frame by frame. No one objected. They split off to their tasks, but a new tension clung to the air, one that hadn't been there before. As Lena scanned through the earlier images again, she found herself drawn back to that shape in her frame. The figure had moved. In each subsequent image, the shadow was closer, its outline clearer. And now, in the most recent frame with Rachel, it wasn't a shadow anymore. It had eyes. The observatory grew quieter as the hours passed. Not the peaceful silence of focus, but the suffocating quiet of mistrust. Every footstep seemed louder, every glance a little too long. The images kept cycling in the background, but no one wanted to look at them anymore. May sat cross-legged beneath the mainframe, her fingers flying over the keyboard. No external breach. Every action was initiated from within our local network. No remote access. The command to reactivate the signal came from Terminal 3. Rachel looked up. That's mine. May hesitated. I know. Rachel stepped closer. Are you saying I did this? I'm saying your credentials were used, May said evenly. Could have been you. Could have been someone using your login. Rachel's jaw clenched. That terminal is biometric locked, Tomasz snorted. So either someone cloned your thumbprint or you're sleepwalking through sabotage. No one is sabotaging anything, Karim said, voice tight. This is fear talking. But fear was already in the room, settled into every corner. Lena stared at the image of the shadow again. The eyes, alien, yes, but human-like too. Curious, cold, there was something in them that made her stomach knot. She turned to Rachel. What if we're not alone here? Rachel stiffened. What do you mean? I mean here. In the building, the lights flickered again. A low pulsing hum began to rise, not from the equipment, but from the very walls. A bass note beneath hearing, more felt than heard. Everyone paused, exchanging glances. EMP, Karim asked, checking the instruments. No surge detected. Then, faintly from down the corridor, metal scraped against tile. The group froze. Tomasz reached for the emergency flashlight. Is that someone in the storage wing? No one should be down there, Rachel said. May grabbed a portable scanner. Let's check. Together. They moved as a group, flashlights cutting the dark like blades. But Lena lagged behind. Something gnawed at her. She glanced once more at the playback monitor. The latest image was there, freshly loaded. The 5 of them huddled in the hallway, staring at something just out of frame. And behind them, the shadow again. Closer now, almost touching. The hallway stretched ahead like a throat, narrow and suffocating. Pale emergency lights flickered along the baseboards, offering just enough glow to make out the shapes of crates and storage lockers lining the corridor. Rachel led the way, weapon drawn now, standard issue sidearm for deep sight expeditions. She hadn't used it in years. There, May whispered, pointing. A locker door at the far end hung ajar, swinging slightly as though recently disturbed. "Could have been the wind," Tomasz said. "There's no wind inside," Lena replied, her voice low. Karim scanned the area with a thermal reader. "No heat signatures. Nothing alive." "No human heat signatures," May corrected. Rachel approached the locker, every step deliberate. She raised her flashlight and, with the barrel of the gun, nudged the door wider. Empty. Just shelves of backup equipment, old monitors, a crate labeled biosample discard. "Do not reuse." Rachel exhaled slowly. Nothing. But Lena didn't move. Her eyes were fixed on the wall behind the locker, newly revealed. Symbols. They were faint, scratched into the plaster like claw marks or etched with some precise tool. Geometric, circular, recursive. Not human language, not decoration. Karim stepped beside her. "Those weren't here last week." "They weren't here yesterday," Lena whispered. May took a quick photo. "Whatever left this, it's been inside, watching us, maybe even listening." Tomasz laughed once, sharp and nervous. "So we're being haunted by a graffiti-loving alien ghost?" "No." Rachel's voice was hard. "We're being studied." A silence fell again, thick as fog. Then Lena's radio crackled, at first just static, but then a voice, distorted, familiar. "Lena, run." It was her voice, her own voice whispering from the speaker. Everyone stared at her. And at the end of the corridor, behind the lockers, something moved. They ran. No discussion, no hesitation. Rachel barked the order and the group sprinted back toward the central lab. Lena's radio hissed nonsense behind them, her own recorded voice trapped in a feedback loop, whispering fragments of words that didn't belong together. "Not you. Inside. Don't. Already here." Back in the lab, doors sealed with a hiss. Rachel locked them manually, then digitally. Double security. May even pulled the power cable on the mainframe to be sure. "What the hell was that?" Tomasz gasped, hands on his knees. Lena stood still, her radio now silent in her hand. She couldn't stop shaking. That voice was me, but not me. It said to run. Karim stared at her. "Run from what? From you?" Rachel shot him a glare, but his words hung heavy. Lena didn't respond. She just turned slowly toward the glass wall of the lab and froze. "Guys," she said, "come look." They joined her at the window that overlooked the outer hall. Across from them, mirrored in the reflection, was the group. All of them. But they weren't moving. Their reflections stood still while they moved. Lena reached out toward the glass. Her reflection didn't follow. "They're not us," Tomasz whispered. The lights in the hallway flickered and the reflections blinked. Not in sync, not at all. May backed away. "That's not a reflection, it's a window." "Or a barrier," Rachel said. "A thin one." Suddenly, the playback monitor behind them sparked back to life. No input, no signal detected. But the image returned. This time it showed the lab. Them. Right now. Captured from a perspective that didn't exist. Overhead, from the ceiling. Rachel looked up slowly. Nothing. "Check the ducts," she ordered. But even before they moved, the lights cut out completely. Darkness. Then, in the pitch black, Lena's radio spoke again. But this time it wasn't her voice, it was Rachel's, and it said, "Don't trust Lena." Darkness swallowed the lab. Only the blinking light from the radio gave any sense of time, an erratic red pulse, like a heartbeat too fast, too afraid. Someone fumbled for a flashlight. Tomasz cursed, a metal clatter. Someone, maybe Karim, breathed sharply. Then, "Don't trust Lena." Rachel's voice, but from the radio, not from her mouth. Lena backed toward the console, palms up. "That's not me, I didn't do anything." "No one said it was you," Rachel said coldly. But the message came from you. First your voice, now mine. The signal's not warning us anymore. It's dividing us. Or trying to, Karim offered. Tomas raised his flashlight, sweeping it across the room. Unless it's right. The beam fell on Lena. She flinched, but didn't move. May stepped between them. We don't know how this works. The signal, it's not just showing the future. It's manipulating it, suggesting things, implanting paranoia. Maybe it wants us to turn on each other. Rachel nodded slowly. Which means we have one choice left. Don't follow the script. A quiet fell. And then, an idea. Lena stepped forward, voice steady. The images. They've always come true because we acted after seeing them. What if they're self-fulfilling? What if the signal doesn't predict? It creates. Karim caught on. And if we do something unexpected? We break the loop, May finished. Rachel met Lena's gaze. You trust yourself? Lena gave a sad smile. Not entirely, but I trust you to shoot me if I'm wrong. They moved fast. Lena led them to the signal array core, the origin point buried beneath the observatory. It wasn't supposed to be accessible, shielded, encrypted, off limits. But the panel opened easily, too easily. Inside, something pulsed, organic, faintly translucent, not built by human hands. It had grown into the machinery, inside the dish's wiring, like a parasite. Rachel raised her weapon. Do it, Lena. Lena hesitated. If I'm the infected one, maybe it wants me to destroy it. Karim took her hand, gently pulled her back. He stepped forward, and without a word, plunged a metal rod into the core. The pulse stopped. Above them, the lights returned. The monitors went black. The reflections vanished, and somewhere, the shadow finally left. 2 days later, an emergency team arrived. They found the group shaken, but alive. The recordings were wiped, the equipment was inert, the signal gone. But on a scratched surface inside the dish array, someone had etched a symbol, one none of the scientists remembered carving, circular, recursive, alien, and beneath it, in small, neat lettering, you changed the ending.